Hello everyone, and welcome to the Jewish Community Partners Annual Meeting. I am Ken Steinberg, outgoing chair of JCP. It's been an absolute honor to serve in a leadership role for JCP and to work with so many dedicated professionals and lay leaders. It's been an unusual year as the pandemic has literally dictated our every move, despite our inability to meet in person, both as a community and leadership team. We have all been able to take care of those in need and take care of the most vulnerable. A year ago, we were just beginning to understand the impact of the COVID pandemic. The uncertainty was overwhelming, and we knew it would be a long time before life returned to normal. The JCP leadership realized that our organization had a critical role to play, and we honed in on several critical priorities. We quickly understood that we had to provide stability for our many community organizations and synagogues by understanding their needs and providing the community with predictable funding. This was accomplished through stepped-up communication with our strategic partners. Weekly Zoom meetings were held at the beginning of COVID with both professional staff and lay leaders in order to ensure that we were able to keep our finger on the pulse of community happenings and needs. We pivoted quickly, restructuring the annual campaign to launch earlier than usual in August and asking every major donor to make a 3-year commitment. Our great campaign chairs, Jonathan Frisch and Jimmy Ringel, got to work and our community responded. 125 families made 3-year commitments to the Federation annual campaign with the understanding that if our needs came about, that we could always come back to them with our fundraising hats on. Our incredibly generous community stepped up in a big way. As of tonight, the Federation's total campaign achievement is $3,560,000. Thanks to our budget and finance leadership headed by Urban Scop, our grants committee was able to provide stable funding to our local agencies, increase our support to Jewish Children's Regional Service, and to provide a $5,000 grant for a collaborative teen initiative. Thanks to Steve Libby and Sarah Lewis for their leadership on the grant side. Through our campaign, we are also supporting our community security initiative under the able leadership of Craig Weiss, and we significantly increased funding to home-delivered meals. Special thanks to the Federation's Lemsky Endowment Committee led by Scott Nodowich for their careful and diligent work in supporting programs that connect Memphis more closely with our beloved Israel. All of our granting work was done in close partnership with the Jewish Foundation of Memphis, which Anthony will highlight in just a few moments. Part of this strategy was to intensify our work with the most senior major donors for legacy gifts and to complete the Fogelman Jewish Family Service Endowment Fund. Our work with legacy giving is critical. The Foundation's 25th anniversary celebration in 2020, chaired by Sandy Blockman and Charles Jelinek, highlighted the amazing work that has resulted in significant investment in endowment funds across our community. The most notable during the past year was a transformational gift of $9 million from the Plow Foundation, solidifying their long-term commitment to the Memphis Jewish Federation, and the achievement of a $6.4 million in endowment gifts toward our total goal of $7.5 million for the benefit of the Fogelman Jewish Family Service. This groundbreaking campaign, spearheaded by a lead gift of $2.5 million from Avron and Wendy Fogelman, will ensure that the most vulnerable members of our Jewish community are always cared for. Next, we proactively address issues of social isolation and mental wellness. Early on during the COVID pandemic, we recognized that our senior population, especially those living at home, felt incredibly isolated from family and friends. In response, our Senior Services Task Force rolled up their sleeves and launched the Senior iPad Project and Tech Buddy Program. iPads were delivered to dozens of seniors, providing them with a way to stay connected during COVID. JCP also expanded our communication to keep the community connected. Hopefully you noticed our branded Strong campaign, which brought our messages to the broader community to a new level. This stepped-up strategy addresses our goal of keeping people connected Jewishly in the Memphis community. Another very significant move was to step up our community relations agenda. The racial and political issues that have divided our community, anti-Semitism and other forms of hate, and other challenges facing our city brought to light the work that must be done to build bridges across our own community and throughout the broader community. We assembled a group of community-minded leaders and put together the beginnings of what will be a long-term agenda of education and unity. Thanks to Laura and mainly the hard work of Bluma, this amazing committee planned 3 sessions of the community we share to address communal issues that impact all of us. Our incredible leadership made this all happen, and I would like to thank the JCP Executive Committee for the hours of commitment they have put in over the past 2 years. As you can see, our plate is full and our cup runneth over. It's been a great pleasure for me to work with Laura and her entire staff. Michael Barnett and Bluma Zuckerbot-Finkelstein round out a leadership team that is literally second to none. You will soon hear more about the upcoming changes to our governance structure, ably led by our counsel, Michael Kaplan. But as Cindy Feinstone takes over the leadership of the organization, with the very capable help of Anthony Morrison and Scott Vogel, I am confident that JCP and the Federation and Foundation will be in extremely capable hands. You've probably read a little bit about me as the outgoing chair these past few weeks, and I'm extremely grateful for the generous thank yous. I can only share with you the fact that no other chair has relied on their executive director or their executive committee more than I have. I've been very blessed to have the support of Jill and my family, my friends, my many mentors, our board, and Laura and her staff. I'm extremely grateful that the Memphis Jewish community always has been and always will be a shining star in the philanthropic world and the Jewish world. I can assure you that we are the envy of many. Thank you to each and every one. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Anthony Morrison, Chair of the Jewish Foundation of Memphis Board, and I'm excited to be here tonight with all of you. I also can't wait for next year when we can hopefully be celebrating together in person. Almost 26 years ago, 10 Memphis Jewish organizations partnered to launch the Jewish Foundation of Memphis. These 10 organizations include 4 synagogues, Asby, Baron Hirsch, Beth Shalom, and Temple Israel, 2 day schools, Born Bloom Jewish Community School and Margolin Hebrew Academy, and 3 community agencies, Fogelman Jewish Family Service, Memphis Jewish Federation, and the Memphis Jewish Community Center. And last but not least, 1 nursing home, the Memphis Jewish Home and Rehab. Today we are proud to have grown into a $100 million foundation. It has been a difficult year, but I am continuously impressed by how the foundation staff and volunteers have been resilient and innovative to ensure the sustainability of Jewish Memphis. I want to give a special shout out to staff members Sherry Gadberry, Sarah Vanderwald, Larry Schaefer, and of course Laura Linder. Jewish philanthropy does not stop during a pandemic. In Memphis, the opposite occurred. The teen philanthropy program called B'nai Tzedek welcomed 6 new members during the last year and granted out $10,000 to 10 organizations to continue existing or launch new programs. Donor advised funds. There are over 400 funds at the Jewish Foundation, and 14 new funds were opened this past year. Donors support Jewish Memphis and beyond for granting money from their funds, and this year over $7 million has been granted, with 72% of that number going to local Jewish organizations. Another area where fund holders have contributed directly to help our Jewish community's needs is our aptly named Community Needs List. This year, over $500,000 has been granted to provide items for all the organizations I mentioned earlier, plus Plow Towers, Chabad, and Young Israel. Items that have been donated include funeral assistance, library carts, COVID-19 cleaning supplies, masks, gloves, outside picnic tables, and computers. A new urgent needs fund at the Jewish Foundation was created by an anonymous donor to assist with the pandemic's COVID needs. From this fund, $147,000 has been donated to help our local agencies, including extra COVID-19 cleaning, extra security, COVID-19 testing, a tent for outside prayer services, and iPads to isolated seniors. Continuing on with the theme of philanthropy is being able to give after your lifetime. This is where the Life and Legacy program comes in. We have documentation from over 300 donors who will be giving to Jewish organizations after they pass. This is absolutely incredible. What is even more incredible is that 28 commitments were finalized this year and 9 new legacy declarations were signed during the pandemic. Thank you to all of our legacy donors. Many people who want to leave a gift to charity in their will need to meet with a estate planning attorney. The foundation works with a stellar group of professional advisors and can connect community members looking to get their plans in order. We have over 100 members, both Jewish and non-Jewish, in our professional advisory group, comprised of professionals from a variety of disciplines, including estate planning attorneys, financial planners and advisors, tax accountants, and insurance agents. 25 years is a long time. The year of 2020 was our 25th anniversary celebration year, which unfortunately coincided with the global pandemic, of course. Needless to say, I'm excited to announce that a foundation team, along with a steering committee, is working on a strategic plan for the next 25 years. The last thing I would like to do tonight is to present the newly established Raymond Shainberg Professional Advisor Award. Raymond Shainberg, of blessed memory, was one of the founding leaders of the Jewish Foundation. This award was created in his memory and is given out to a professional advisor who has demonstrated extraordinary leadership, dedication, and commitment to the foundation. This year, I would like to present the award to the chair of our professional advisory group, foundation board member, trusted attorney, and all-around nice guy, Jason Solomon.
Thank you, Anthony.
Absolutely, thank you.
It really means a lot to me to receive an award in Raymond's memory. I considered Raymond to be both a friend and a mentor, and it's also an honor to be recognized among my professional advisors, many of whom I consider to be the best in their field. So thank you again, Anthony. It's really, truly a great honor.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jason. And now stay tuned for Keeping Up with the Goldbergers coming up next.
Well, first of all, thank you for taking the time and for your willingness to even meet with us. And as I said when I first came in, I know that you like to be in the background.
Right.
But you know what? Today is your time to be up front. And, you know, we just really wanted to acknowledge and thank you for the role that you've played in the Jewish community. So congratulations for really an unbelievable career that you spent your life doing, and we're so grateful to both of you.
And so you have followed your father
That is correct.
in your incredible marathon of covering the news of the Jewish community in Memphis and the Mid-South.
That is correct. I followed my father and my uncle, his brother. My father founded the Hebrew Watchman in 1925.
Years since 1925, the Goldberger family
That is correct.
has produced the Hebrew Watchman.
That is correct. My father and his older brother, Emmanuel or Emil, founded the Goldberger Printing Company. And they were the printers of the Hebrew Watchman from 1925 until 1985.
So 1925 to present, the Hebrew Watchman has been a force
That is correct.
in our community. So I think that's about 96 years, something like.
95.
Well, the chosen people were only wandering in the wilderness for 40 years. So this is twice that plus some, right? Well, we understand that it has been a yearning of yours to visit the homeland of Israel.
That is correct.
That is something that has been in your heart for a long time.
That is correct.
And sources close to our folks here have a surprise for you today. And so I think it's time to unveil the great gift.
Well, I'm Cindy Feinstone, Chair of Memphis Jewish Federation, and we wanted to stop by today to express, on behalf of Jewish community partners, our board, and the greater Jewish Memphis community, our thanks to you both. Every week, I look forward to going out to my mailbox and getting my copy of the Hebrew Watchman. And at Memphis Jewish Federation, one of our priorities is connecting our community. And the Hebrew Watchman has allowed our community to stay connected. Bobby, I think I heard from sources that you started as a bookkeeper in 1966, and then you became an associate editor. I kind of caught that when I was walking in. And Herman, you took, as you mentioned, took over as editor of the Hebrew Watchman in 1970 from your father.
That is correct.
But your first official job at the Hebrew Watchman, I believe, was when you were in high school.
Well, I was 5 years old.
Okay. Well, that goes back even longer.
All right, what I'm trying to say is when we were located at 409 South 2nd Street, I used to run galley proofs
Oh my gosh.
up and down the stairs.
So truly the Hebrew Watchman is a labor of love for you and your family. And the Hebrew Watchman, as we've mentioned, has connected Memphis readers to Jewish stories from around the world, helping us to understand the global Jewish community from Israel to Europe, the former Soviet Union to Ethiopia, and all points between and beyond. And as Jewish community newspapers unfortunately folded around the United States, the Hebrew Watchman continued to thrive, and today it's as strong as ever and such an important fabric of our wonderful community's culture. So Laura, can you come join me? So as a thank you to you both for over 50 years of work on the Hebrew Watchman, Laura and I, on behalf of Jewish community partners and the Jewish community, would like to present you with airline tickets and a trip to Israel, a place you've always written about and published articles from those in our community, but you two have never been.
I always let my father go.
So here's the catch. When you guys get back, you have to write an article for the Hebrew Watchman about your trip. So we wish you both the best, safe journey, and thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you ever so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can't believe it.
Thank you.
Memphis Jewish community honored a local family today that has published a newspaper called The Hebrew Watchman for nearly a century. Herman and Bobby Goldberger took over writing, editing, and publishing The Hebrew Watchman from Herman's father in 1970. The Goldbergers were presented a gift for their tireless service publishing the Memphis-based paper with a circulation of 3,000 that reports news of the Jewish community in the Mid-South and around the world. An organization called Jewish Community Partners presented the Goldbergers with round-trip tickets to Israel, a place they've longed to visit during their marathon of service, reporting news of note to the Memphis area Jewish community.
This is the greatest story ever told. A story of a Jewish community united as a deadly pandemic overtook our lives. This is a story of community organizations that came together, pivoted, went online, and stepped up to care for nearly 10,000 members of our Jewish community. This is the story of Israel, our homeland, becoming the leader in finding a vaccine to fight COVID. This is the story of Jewish Memphis donors who said, "Hineni, here I am," when asked for stable funding for Federation's annual campaign, didn't hesitate to recommend donor advised fund grants to support critical COVID-related needs, contributed nearly $6.4 million toward our Fogelman Jewish Family Service endowment campaign, and opened our hearts and our wallets to support Israel during COVID and during the recent barrage of rockets from Gaza. This is a story of agency executive directors coming together week after week, to help each other and ensure we all are meeting the needs of our community. This is the story of a professional team that stood up, filled in, and went the extra mile to continue our important work while working remotely and trying to keep our families intact. I am proud to lead our organization at this moment in history and to thank those closest to our organization for their work. Our mission is simple: ensure a sustainable and vibrant Jewish community in Memphis, and advocate for and live up to our collective responsibility for ensuring Israel and Jewish communities around the globe are strong and vibrant. We are your partner in fulfilling the mitzvah of tzedakah and caring for Jewish families around the globe. We do this in so many ways, as our leadership has and will share. And the work of JCP, ensuring vibrant Jewish life, could never happen without the critical commitment of so many: our diverse board members, hundreds of donors, 400 plus fund holders, our stellar professional staff, our committed agency leadership and executive directors, professional advisors, and corporate partners. Together, we have created an organization that is continually striving to understand the needs of our community and big issues facing world Jewry. We are a trusted philanthropic partner, an expert in charitable gift planning, and a gateway for meaningful and lasting connections to Israel. And we are the place where everyone comes together when unity is needed to care for our community. Thank you for choosing us as your gateway for meaningful Jewish involvement. I am so honored to lead such a talented and committed group of professionals. It takes this team to keep us moving. We managed to have a record year despite being physically distanced and shorthanded. If we were in person, I would ask them to stand, but instead I will express my heartfelt gratitude to each of them for their dedication and hard work. I am excited first to formally announce 2 promotions. The first happened earlier during this fiscal year: Bluma Zuckerbrot Finkelstein to Chief Impact Officer and Executive Vice President, Memphis Jewish Federation. In her new executive role, Bluma has taken on significant additional responsibilities for Federation's strategic visioning and programs, including adding oversight of marketing to her already full plate. She is an incredible advocate for Israel and leads all of our Israel initiatives, as well as leading our growingly critical, important community relations agenda. And I'm also excited to announce the promotion of Sherry Gadberry to Senior Philanthropic Officer and Executive Vice President, Jewish Foundation of Memphis. The foundation would not be where it is without Sherry and her dedication to our organization and our community. In her new role, Sherry will take on added responsibilities for supervision of foundation professionals, as well as maintain her portfolio of being the customer-facing contact for all of our fund holders. Our team really persevered. Under the direction of our Chief Operating Officer, Michael Barnett, and our Director of Finance, Tim Wheat, we passed a visionary budget directing dollars to under-resourced community priorities. Our financial house is in order, and we've seen our assets grow significantly over the past year to more than $130 million. Thank you, Tim, and thank you to Carolyn Pruitt, who ensure we are responsibly managing community assets. Michael led our Federation grants process, ensuring every dollar granted is meeting community needs, and launched a new online platform making our funding interactions with our strategic partners more efficient and streamlined. Also, under his direction, we onboarded a new security director, Amanda Braswell, and bid farewell to Stuart Frisch. Welcome, Amanda. Through the vision and hard work of our Director of Communications, Matt Timberlake, we significantly stepped up our communications and our visibility. We launched a new brand and stayed in close touch with the broad Memphis Jewish community. This year's campaign, despite doing mostly everything virtual, was a big success. A special shout out to our campaign chairs, Jimmy and Jonathan, who rallied our stellar team of volunteers to get the job done. And to Shelley Robbins and Debbie B. Lazaroff, our Lion of Judah co-chairs. Our Lion of Judah program was incredible this year, engaging more people than ever before. I'm so excited to see how we will continue to develop this important group of women donors. Thanks to Lisa Schroeder for keeping us on task and moving forward. Under the direction of Sarah Vanderwald and support of Lisa Schroeder, we had an incredible 25th anniversary celebration for the Jewish Foundation of Memphis, including active engagement from all of our partner agencies. Sarah also engaged our professional advisors and our teen philanthropists who continue their important work of learning about giving and supporting our community. Sarah partnered with Sophie Block, our amazing director of Hillels, to launch Camp at Home Strong to engage our kids who missed out on camp last summer. Speaking of Sophie, we are incredibly proud of her work with engaging Jewish college students from across our community. Recently, we learned that Rhodes has the highest incoming Jewish freshman class ever. Special thanks to Sophie also for stepping in to lead our young adult networking breakfast, a huge success. And how about our engagement programs, PJ Library and our senior outreach? We are so grateful to Joe and Billy Pierce, our amazing PJ sponsors, for making it possible for the past 8 years or so for every Jewish child in Memphis to receive a Jewish book every month. Thanks to Miriam for her work over the past year to keep this program and its participants actively engaged. Are you new in town? Welcome, and keep your eye out for our newcomer event in person. And of course, thanks to Hilly Saphir, our professional charged with bringing Jewish engagement to homebound seniors and to those living in assisted living communities. One of our newest team members, Larry Schaefer, is providing critical support to the Jewish Foundation and was able to reconnect with our generous corporate partners, securing more than $65,000 in corporate partnership gifts. Carrie Richardson expertly keeps us all organized and on task, and Courtney Schemper is a wonderful face of our organization, as she is very often the first contact with anyone reaching out to our organizations. One of our priorities, which you will hear more about from Cindy and Scott, is to become a more data-driven organization. Key to this is having a robust community database, which can drive all of the initiatives of our organization, from fundraising to community planning. Over this past year, we welcomed a new database manager, Alyssa Pfeffer, who jumped in with both feet, learning the system quickly and providing significant support to the campaign and to our planning efforts. Our staff is the backbone of our organization, but it's the partnership with lay leadership that truly allows the growth we need in our community. I am incredibly grateful and honored to have spent the last 2 years working in close partnership with Ken Steinberg, Cindy Feinstone, Anthony Morrison, and Scott Vogel. Wow, what an incredible team. This was a tough year, but they never wavered. Our community is better because of these 4 leaders. Thank you. And Ken, this is not goodbye. Working with you has been such a delight and truly a highlight of my professional career. Whether it's your morning phone calls just to check in or hosting of numerous events, meetings, or happenings, you are truly one of a kind. Thank you, Ken. I'll be part of your band anytime. Your impact on this community will be felt forever. So in closing, I want to again thank you, our staff, board members, our community leaders, our donors, and our professional advisors, and of course our corporate partners. Together we have shown what we can accomplish when we come together. Thank you.
Where's Ken?
I don't know where he is, but he's got some great Pappy Van Winkle.
I'm enjoying it for sure. Here's Ken, the most generous guy I know.
We have been to the Levitt Shell. We have been to Earlings. We have been to Andrew Michael. We've been playing bocce. Where is Ken?
I mean, thank goodness he's not here, so we could raid his cellar and get his 23-year Pappy.
Ken, your accomplishments during your tenure at JCP have been outstanding. Thanks to you, the Memphis Jewish community is in a much stronger position. You have inspired so many in our community, including me, to volunteer more, to give more, and leave a lasting legacy. It's been a pleasure working with you over these years, and I thank you for your leadership, your guidance, and most importantly, your friendship.
I want to commend you and thank you and congratulate you for all you have done for our community. It's unbelievable. A guy as busy as you, with the busiest travel calendar and concert calendar and every other calendar I can think of, still manages to volunteer so much for our community and do so much for our community.
I feel like our friendship really started back in 1990 with the Kazakh mission. And ever since then, you have shown me how to be a leader in the community. You have a great legacy, and you should be proud of what you've left for all of us to work on and build with the years that you've put into this community. Thank you, Kazakh. We love you.
Hey Ken, we miss you today. I just wanted to say to you how proud I am of all the work you've done. You've been as generous as anybody I know. Your work is inspiring to all of us. We love you. We appreciate all that you've done. This community has no idea of how many hours and how much time and how you've given your treasure as well. Here's to you, my friend. Love you.
There was a recent article in Forbes that was mentioned at a recent JFNA board meeting about the leadership needs to change after COVID-19. Leadership, according to the article, is the ability to persuade a group of people to collaborate effectively in pursuit of a collective goal, something they cannot accomplish individually. The article goes on to say that organizations are going to be better off if their leaders are smart, curious, humble, kind, resilient, and honest. Laura, these are all characteristics that you have demonstrated not only during the past 16 months of the pandemic, but over the past 20 years in service to our Jewish community. We are a strong organization thanks to your dedication, your commitment, and passion. You have worked tirelessly for the First Jewish Foundation of Memphis and as our executive director for Jewish Community Partners. 20 years is a wonderful milestone, and you have accomplished so much in those years.
Leading an organization that has over $100 million in assets is a result of your strong relationship with our donors, our agencies, schools, and synagogues. Not only are you our leader, but a friend we can always count on. As a small token to mark this milestone, we have a gift that the Executive Committee, Scott, Ken, and Anthony and I would like to present to you tonight. There are 3 symbols on this artwork: the Chai for life, the lion symbolizing your philanthropy, and the Hebrew word for love, the love that we have for you and that you have for our community. We hope you know how much you mean to us and how much we treasure working alongside you. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Sweet. Very sweet. So, Ken, we are so grateful for the leadership that you've provided. You know, you, for many years running, you've been campaign chair, federation chair, foundation chair, and JCP chair. Did I leave anything out?
Lemsky.
And Lemsky committee chair. You have been an incredible leader of our organization and of the community. We're so grateful. We wanted to do something special for you and find a gift that really reflected your soul. And we found something that we think is really great, and hopefully somebody's bringing it in. Okay.
All right.
So,
Yes, I'll move out
on
of the way.
behalf of the staff and leadership, we're presenting you with this Memphis-made guitar.
Wow.
We thought it was a perfect reflection of you and what you love and what you're passionate about.
It's perfect.
And hopefully you'll enjoy it.
I wish I knew how to play it. This is great. Thank y'all so much.
Absolutely.
It's been an absolute pleasure and an honor.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, bud.
Well,
You've
thank
been
you so
awesome.
much for what
Yes.
you've done, especially following in your footsteps is going to be very difficult.
I met Gypsy. This is awesome.
Hi, I'm Michael Greenberg, past chair of Jewish Community Partners. I'm pleased to present a report of JCP's Governance Committee as well as the nominating slate for the 2021-2022 annual meeting. A few months ago, JCP created a governance committee to review our current structure and evaluate its effectiveness in meeting our needs. The structure, created 6 years ago with the creation of JCP and the consolidation of staff of MJF and JFOM, has had many positive impacts. It has assisted with the greater fundraising, coordinated our efforts relating to prioritizing and meeting community needs, and led to major efficiencies for services such as human resources, finance, marketing, etc. However, after 6 years of operating with JCP in place, we have realized that the way we operate under the current structure, although in some ways convenient and efficient, has some disadvantages. Memphis Jewish Federation and Jewish Foundation of Memphis each need a robust and engaged board to plan, set policy, and advocate for the unique agenda missions. For these reasons, the committee recommended and the boards agreed that structural changes were needed. The committee's concept for accomplishing this includes right-sizing the 3 boards so that each has the right size and composition to determine and assure the accomplishment of its policies and mission, including assuring that Jewish Community Partners is performing as needed to support and assure the highest level of services to its donors and community. The nominating slate reflects these recommendations. First, I'd like to thank the members of the nominating committee who met to put together this new slate of officers and board members. The nominating committee consists of Cindy Feinstone, Lee Harkavy, Paula Jacobson, Michelle Katz, Debbie H. Lazarov, Richard Lewis, Sarah Lewis, Scott Nodowich, Ken Steinberg, Alyssa Taub, Andy Uberall, and Carrie Unowski. I would like to acknowledge those board members rolling off our boards and thank them for their service. Those include David Cooper, Mark Fogelman, Lisa Barden, Terry Mendelson, Nina Blockman. Thank you all. I'm now pleased to present the following officers and board members for Jewish Community Partners, Memphis Jewish Federation, and Jewish Foundation of Memphis. In our effort to follow the recommendations of the Governance Committee, there was movement among our 3 boards, so we will be asking you to approve all board member classes presented this evening. Pending bylaw revisions and approval, the following new board structure will be adopted. First, for Jewish Community Partners, I refer you to the slide starting with the officers who are elected for a 2-year term unless noted. Our chair will be Scott Vogel. Treasurer Secretary Jason Solomon for a 1-year term. Counsel Michael Kaplan for a 1-year term. Vice Chair, Impact and Evaluation, Mark Gillenson. Next, for Jewish Foundation of Memphis, I refer you to the slide starting with the officers elected for a 2-year term, unless noted. The chair will be Anthony Morrison for a 1-year term. Vice Chair, Legal and Tax Advisory, David Greenberg. Program Chair, Chair-elect, Jason Solomon. And 3 classes of board members with terms expiring as noted. Next, for the Memphis Jewish Federation, again I refer you to the slide starting with the officers elected for a 2-year term. Chair, Memphis Jewish Federation, Cindy Feinstone. Secretary, Jimmy Ringel. Vice Chair Campaign, Jimmy Ringel and Jonathan Frisch for a 1-year term. Vice Chair Community Impact, Sarah Lewis for a 1-year term, and Jason Goldstein. Vice Chair Israel and Overseas, Scott Nodowich for a 1-year term. Vice Chair Fed-Led, Martin Klasmer. Vice Chair Leadership Development, Jacqueline Marshall. Vice Chair Security, Craig Weiss. And 3 classes of board members with terms expiring as noted. Given that this is a virtual meeting, I will ask for those watching to indicate their approval by noting so in the chat. We will reaffirm these nominees at our first board meeting of the fiscal year. Only board members may vote. Thank you.
For those of you who are fans of This Is Us, you know that the season finale usually has a cliffhanger. Well, no cliffhanger tonight. Scott and I are excited to look ahead for next year and are happy to share with you our thoughts, so there's no surprises and hopefully no more unexpected events that we didn't plan. Over the past 6 months, JCP leadership engaged in important conversations about where we've been, where we need to go, and how to get there. We pulled out community studies, engaged our leadership in priority setting conversations, and agreed that more time and resources were needed to address the rise in anti-Semitism, do more ongoing strategic visioning around local and global Jewish issues, grow our donor base and expand legacy efforts, and build a leadership pipeline, a critical component of having a sustainable Jewish community. In order to achieve this, we took a look at both our governance and staffing structures and asked ourselves, do we have the right people on board? Are we utilizing the talents of our leaders to their fullest extent? And do we need to enhance our professional team in order to do what our community needs of us? These important leadership conversations took place at a time when several major financial milestones were reached. A transformational $9 million endowment gift from the Plow Foundation, multi-year commitments from our most generous families, and the near completion of our $7.5 million endowment campaign for the Wendy and Avron Fogelman Family Jewish Service. These milestone achievements have made it possible for a bold vision for moving our organization forward toward a strong tomorrow. Scott?
Tomorrow Strong is our vision for moving our organization forward. But first, I want to thank our donors and our volunteers for their commitment and time they make to the campaign each year. We are excited with the plans we've made to invest in ourselves. We feel it's important that we have the right personnel and governance structure to carry out our mission and our priorities. To accomplish this, as you heard from Michael Greenberg, we have restructured our boards, allowing each board to be more effective and hone in on its core functions, as well as take on new, under-resourced initiatives. By restructuring JCP, the Federation and Foundation boards will be more focused, active, and accountable for the results delivered by each organization. As board members, it is your responsibility to make sure that each organization has the resources required to deliver on the measurable goals you will be asked to approve. Please take the time to read and understand the material sent to each of you and actively participate in the meetings. To be tomorrow strong, We need each board member to come together for the benefit of our wonderful community to be team strong. As my first official action as chair of Jewish Community Partners, I am pleased to appoint Mark Gillenson to our executive committee for a one-year term as the chair of Data Impact and Evaluation. Data will continue to drive both organizations. Therefore, if any board member has an interest in joining Mark and his committee, please reach out to him or me. We need members to be curious, creative, and engaging with our data, but at all levels of foundation and federation. Jewish Community Partners will support the activities of Federation and Foundation with added focus in new important areas: technology, data, and reporting. JCP has implemented a new data system for the Foundation and a new online calendar program for the community, which will roll out July 1st. I am grateful to have been part of the leadership team for the past 10 years, but especially this past year. Each of you in this meeting and the rest of our community can be very proud of the tremendous output our staff generated this last year to do all the programs remotely, yet keep donors engaged and giving at a very high level. Caring for our community is what we do, and we do it very well. And these next few years will be important to re-engage with in-person programming, giving a lending hand to our agencies, and continue supporting our campaign for our short-term needs, and working with the Foundation to set up our annual gift in perpetuity. It is a privilege and an honor to serve our community and to be connected to so many of you who are relatives and who have been lifelong friends through the Hebrew Academy, Baron Hirsch, BBYO, and community organizations like Plow Tower, and of course, JCP and Federation. I especially want to thank Stacy for her years of supporting me and the volunteer work that we do together. She understands the work that needs to be done for the community and has a special love for Israel herself. We will be team strong because of Laura, Bluma, Michael, and the rest of the JCP team for their professional leadership and execution in programming and fundraising. A big thanks to Cindy and Anthony Morrison and the rest of the incoming board for their commitment they have made to leading our community. I also want to thank my parents. May they rest in peace for the passion and inspiration they have given me to understand how good life can be when giving back. I also want to thank our past members and board chairs who have awarded us, each of us, the legacy of serving a great federation and foundation for a stronger and more engaged tomorrow.
Thanks, Scott. Looking forward, we plan to get back to, as Scott mentioned, in-person meetings and community events. So far, we've held a few live events, the first being the Rally for Israel held at the Memphis Jewish Community Center, which united us all to support Israel, and the recent Lions of Judah Spring Recognition event, where we recognized 13 new Lions and honored Marilyn Bells of blessed memory as our newest Forever Lion of Judah, as well as an outdoor yoga event. We are excited with our new governance structure that Scott mentioned and our plans to enhance our staff. We are actively recruiting to fill open positions, such as our campaign director and communications associate, and we are investing new dollars into a director of outreach and leadership engagement. This critical position will provide staff support to one of our new priorities of building a leadership pipeline. This person will partner with our newly created board chair position led by Jacqueline Marshall, one of our 3 next-gen leaders participating along with Alana Kahane and Jana Weiskopf in a national Emerge leadership program. Through our focus in this area, we will work toward creating an onboarding leadership ladder for the various committees and task forces as we identify, develop, and engage new leaders. We will connect newcomers to networks based on their interests, build up volunteer opportunities at all life stages, and continue to actively recruit and onboard young adults with the help of Martin Klasmer, who is leading our Young Adult Committee. As we all know from recent events, there's been a rise in anti-Semitism. In the recent 2020 Pew study, more than 9 in 10 U.S. Jews say there is at least some anti-Semitism in the United States, including 45% who say there is a lot of anti-Semitism. Moreover, 75% say there is more anti-Semitism in the United States than there was 5 years ago. To address the rise in anti-Semitism, we are formalizing our community relations structure by developing guidelines and lay committees. We are excited to have Jill Nodowich and Janice Finan help us with this important initiative. We've had great success with our 3-point series, The City We Share, as we delved into issues regarding education, mental health, and eviction. Each series was introduced by one of our rabbis and facilitated by members of our community. These sessions were very insightful, brought in individuals in our community not previously connected with Memphis Jewish Federation, and will provide a great launch point for this initiative. These expanded efforts will be executed alongside our core priorities of understanding community needs, raising critical dollars, and granting to programs serving the greatest need. We will get back on track with missions to Israel and begin planning for the year-long Israel at 75 community-wide celebration. As we continue to partner closely with our agencies, synagogues, and schools to ensure everyone in our community feels cared for, has opportunities for connection and engagement. Together we are a strong community. We can't possibly accomplish what we do without our professional and lay leaders, our board, our committees, volunteers, and most importantly, as Scott mentioned, our donors. So thanks to everyone who helps create a strong, connected, vibrant, and sustainable Jewish community. Before we finish, Scott and I wanted to again thank Ken for his past leadership, and I look forward to working with Anthony and Scott and our board over the next 2 years. We as leaders are most effective from the support we receive not only from the community, but our families. So special thanks to Mark, Deborah, and Edward. As you can see, we have a lot of ambitious goals for next year, some of which we will plant the seeds and watch mature over several years. We are excited about our plan and what we as a board and community have accomplished and will accomplish. So stay tuned for next season, and good night.